If you're looking for your next product role, you're looking for referrals, you might consider joining an organization like PCA, Product Career Accelerator, which we run, and you might wonder, how can PCA help me with referrals? I get this question pretty often, so I wanted to leave this video out here, and if it can be useful for you to just get referrals from anywhere, then perfect. And also can answer the question for folks that are considering joining the Product Career Accelerator. How does PCA help with referrals? So fundamentally, the way that I think about referrals are, they're never ever going to be based on the relationship itself. If you think or anyone in PCA is just going to help you because we've got a great relationship, frankly, I don't think that you're going to be very successful in a career, because that's not how it works. It works based on utility. We're product managers. We're supposed to deliver value. We're supposed to actually help customers and the business. We're supposed to make money. It's supposed to be useful. It's not about, hey, can you get me a referral here? I really appreciate it. It's about, hey, I see what you're working on. I have the following expertise. I have the following skill set. I've solved these problems before. I've solved problems similar to this one before, so I can actually help you. And if you set it up like that, I would be very happy to refer you to anybody in my network. So that's the short answer. A little bit of a longer answer is that there is, of course, a component of referrals where you could kind of get your foot in the door of certain companies, and you don't necessarily need to be exceptional at a particular role to get your foot in the door. This is something like a Google or Meta. If you know somebody, they can submit a referral. But even for those referrals, they have to put in, why am I referring this person? They want to put something meaningful in there. So essentially, it's going to be the same thing. Why am I referring this person? Because they're likely to be a good candidate, or because they're likely to succeed in this work environment, or because of their work ethic, if nothing else. But you're not going to get any of that if you don't know the person. If you have a great career and you've delivered a lot of impact, you've worked a lot of great places, and you want to join PCA, then absolutely, we will give you a lot of referrals. A lot of PCA alumni will give you referrals. But if you want to do it the other way around, where you want to join an organization and want to just put your email out there and expect to get 10 referrals from Google, Meta, and DoorDash, and OpenAI and everything, that's just not going to happen in PCA or anywhere, frankly. If anyone's telling you that they're going to do this, please don't believe them. So now I want to talk a little bit about where referrals fit in to your application methodology. In my mind, and what we work on in PCA is, every day, do the following things. Look for jobs, apply to jobs, read job descriptions, identify the important elements, customize the resumes, and then follow up via email, LinkedIn message, or even text message with senior product people on that team, with hiring managers, and with a recruiter, with why you can solve the problem. That is what we expect you to do every day if you join PCA. And we're going to give you accountability. We're going to give you support. We will give you what you need, but we expect you to do the work. There's a lot of candidates out there. There are also a lot of jobs, but we expect you to put in a lot of effort, both in the quality of that effort and, of course, in the quantity of that effort. This week, we talked about generating interest in a senior role through networking, the importance of top of funnel, even when you've already got a bunch of interviews scheduled, and what happens when you don't follow up, or what happens when you actually don't do top of funnel work. We'll talk about a client who's in the middle of 7 interviews, talk about reframing, application, networking, connection. We'll discuss what's more important, speed of application or customization of your resume. We'll be doing these type of discussions every week. First of all, we had one of our clients, one PCA member, was able to get a senior role or access to an interview about a senior role just through networking alone. I've seen this happen a number of times inside PCA. Mostly this is for experienced folks, senior folks. You can engage with your network, engage with other senior product people, senior recruiters, and just talk about what problems they're experiencing. Or better yet, maybe look into some of their product reviews or product usabilities or seminars or whatever it is they're selling their stuff, and try to do a little mini case study of what, if anything, you might improve or how you might proceed if you were already at a leadership position in this company. So I've seen this work multiple times. We've had jobs landed, and this person landed an interview with the hiring manager for a job that doesn't even exist. He met this hiring manager for a coffee chat. This was an actual in-person coffee chat, which is really, really a strong indication. Usually I do recommend doing it virtually if you can, but if there's an opportunity for a high-level position to meet in person, then of course that improves your odds of eventually moving forward. Nonetheless, I stressed to him the importance of staying focused on the role itself once it is created for him. So when he goes goes through the actual interview process, we still have to treat it just as seriously as if we were applying without any sort of direct referrals. Next thing we talked about was we had another PCA member who has gone through a lot of interviews in the last 3-4 weeks. Unfortunately, didn't get it. We didn't do top of funnel work, even though pretty much 80% of the time on these calls and other calls, I stress the importance of top of funnel. So unfortunately, this person got a no. We're still kind of slowly moving in with one company. He received a few no's from the companies that he already had lined up when he joined PCA, and then he didn't focus on the top of funnel. So now he doesn't have any additional interviews coming up. It's going to take time. It takes 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks to build up conversations and interviews on your calendar. All right. The next thing is we had a client success. So we had a client that came in to talk about the fact that he's got 7 interviews, or rather 7 companies are interviewing him at the same time. And the keys to success, to get access to those, he credits timeliness. We talk about a lot of stuff in PCA, but he talked about the importance of speed. I talk on the internet about how you should apply quickly because the chances of the hiring manager picking your resume from 10 is greater than from 1,000 candidates. Don't save jobs on Tuesday, Wednesday so that you can look at them on Saturday and apply. It's going to be too late by then. If you can apply within 10 minutes, you can have the greatest odds of success. So this person came in and said primarily what he did is he set up alerts, not just LinkedIn email alerts, but app alerts. And as soon as the job came up, he applied for it within 10 minutes. He credits a large part of these interviews to the speed. And of course, as he confirmed, he was a good fit for all of them. So don't think that just speed alone will do it. You can't apply for a job that you have no experience, expertise, skill set, no business applying for and expect to get a callback just because you did it quickly. That doesn't work. Now let's talk about reframing the process of application, networking, connection in general with how people maybe are used to doing it. Primarily, it's talking about yourself. Instead, let's focus on their problems and how you can be useful. You've got plenty of skills and attributes and expertise areas and things that you've done and delivered that actually make you well positioned to solve a problem. When you're applying for a job, read the job description, find the 1, 2, 3 things that the hiring manager is actually looking to solve and offer to solve those problems. And if you do that in 1 or 2 lines, you're much more likely to actually get a callback. Same deal with the networking. We were talking about a question asked during a recruiting conversation. Hey, why are you interested in this company? The common answer is, well, it gives me more scope and I could deliver more impact and I could do more and it's really great for my career. I'm not kidding. These are the type of answers that people use. And of course it's ridiculous, but it's very self-centered. So you always want to frame it around the other person's, the interviewers, the recruiters' problems. So now the last thing I want to talk about is speed of application or customization. Big thing is, should you apply quickly or should you customize your resume? Of course you should do both, but if you only have enough time to do one, what should you do? I recommend customizing your resume because if you apply quickly and the resume doesn't match, then it doesn't matter that you applied quickly. If you applied too slowly, but with a customized resume, you still don't have a chance because you're too low in the deck, but you have a higher chance than if you applied quickly with a non-customized resume. Because at the end of the day, what matters is whether you can solve their problem or not. Maybe you already knew that the manager is your most important work relationship, but in case you didn't, or if you think differently, let me give you my reasoning. As a PM, you should be thinking about expanding your scope. The way that you increase your influence usually is with scope, is by taking on more features and product areas, eventually taking on more products, eventually launching new products, having bigger ownership. The eventual career path for the product manager is CPO, CEO. That is, in fact, the final career inflection point for a product manager. But the most important relationship is with your manager because no one else is going to have quite as much influence on your career trajectory and scope as your manager. So few people actually think about their manager relationship until they're actually on the job. They don't even know their manager. They're just starting the job and hoping that they get a good manager. Don't just run into the next job without understanding who you're signing up to work with, because this person will influence 70% of your career success. So why is the relationship with your manager is so important? It's usually because promotion is set up by the manager. Your manager has to support, sort of nominate you for promotion in most tech companies. From a scope perspective, you have to have a good relationship with your manager to understand how they're thinking about the org design. Presumably, your manager has other reports besides you, and you've divided the scope of work. You're covering a certain area, your colleague, product manager is covering another area, and all together, it encompasses your manager's scope of influence and scope of work. So your career progression is totally linked with your manager's career progression because you can't really expand your scope often unless your manager also expands their scope. The next reason why you need a relationship is because your performance reviews are largely determined by your manager. Your manager is the one who authors usually or compiles your performance review. Are you going to get a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 out of 5 this quarter? It feels obvious, but again, a lot of people don't think about it, and a lot of people leave that alone and just kind of go with the flow. You have to be proactive about managing your career and bringing it up with your manager, and the same thing with your performance reviews. And the final thing is, of course, you got to pick your managers. Your sanity depends on your manager to a large degree. What kind of communication schedule did you agree to? Are you getting pings all the time and texts and emails at weird hours and evenings and weekends? So your relationship with the manager will inform the way that your work-life balance actually ends up. So how do you build a great relationship with your manager? So assuming you can't pick your manager anymore because you've stuck with them, how do you actually improve your relationship? First thing you can do is, I'm assuming this is a manager that's actually worth working for and worth investing into a relationship. If they don't care about your career progression, think about finding a new manager. Because honestly, due to the importance of this relationship, you want to invest that ultimately with people who will give you the same. Assuming this manager is worth the time and effort investment, think about the problems that they have. Think about the goals that they have and try to prioritize those projects. The difference between you proactively giving an update about a project and what's happening and the manager asking you for an update is huge. Prioritize their requests. If they send you an email or a ping or a text, put them in a VIP so that you get it faster, you can respond faster. Be more proactive about this so they don't even have to ask. They know where to look. The third thing you can do is you can manage other relationships in your org. You can maintain positive relationship with EngLead, with sales, with marketing, with legal, with ops, with whoever you're talking to. And by having that relationship, you will make it simpler for your manager to do their job because they don't have to get involved in potentially resolving any conflicts or misunderstandings. The third way to get a good relationship is by being the owner of your career in the relationship. Just by saying, hey, manager, I've created my promo doc. Can we review it together? I've reviewed the rubric for what the next level looks like, and I've kind of self-assessed myself, and I've gotten some information from my teammates to start the conversation with you. Same deal for projects. Hey, manager, for this project, I've already done some brainstorming. I've already done some pre-thinking so that when I show up to the call with us or to the review or to a group setting workshop, I already have done some pre-work. I'm not just starting to think about it on the call. I'm taking things from your plate so you have less to do. So if you can do that, you're doing some of their work. Notice I didn't say at any time you should compliment them or give them gifts or other wacky stuff like that. It's always utility based. It's how can you help them become more effective? How can you help them reach their goals? And how can you take on some of their responsibilities so that they can hopefully unblock themselves, maybe even build their career, and then take you along with them. Those are some things you can do to build your relationship with your manager. But of course, the most important thing is picking the manager in the first place. And we'll do a separate video talking about the questions to ask your future manager and coworkers as you start a new role. And if you're looking for a new PM role right now, then you can click the link in the description below and schedule a call with our team to see if we can help you get your new role faster, more effectively, and hopefully with a higher paying offer. Thanks very much. I'll see you next time.